have seen the faces of these 6 young people. I've read their names. I think of their mothers who prepared breakfast that morning, not knowing it would be the last meal they would ever cook for their children. I think of their fathers who waved goodbye and expected them home by evening. What did those families get? A board of inquiry, statement of regrets, promises to investigate, to confront the truth. In our view, our country is in danger, our democracy is under attack from within, our young people are dying in preventable tragedies, their futures are being destroyed in failing schools, millions of them have no work and no hope. Our laws are being twisted, our institutions are being weakened, our voice is being ignored. To stay quiet now would be a betrayal of the people we serve. It would be a betrayal of Ghana. So today, we the minority take a stand. We draw a line. We choose to speak again and again. History has a way of testing nations. It tests them not in moments of triumph, but in moments of temptation. It tests them not when the path is clear, but when a fog is thick. And it judges them not by their words, but by their choices. Ghana stands at such a crossroad today. Our people are tired of watching their constitution treated as a suggestion, tired of seeing a human life reduced to numbers in press conference, tired of a parliament that sometimes forgets it speaks for the people, not for the executive. From this side of the aisle, we say enough is enough. Mr. Speaker, before I speak of policies and politics, let me speak of people, real people, young people, Ghanaians who will never come home. Last month, 6 young men and women, 6 women, woke up early to be part of the many who were going to participate in the recruitment exercise at Elwak Stadium. They went with dreams of serving in Ghana's armed forces. They went with hope in their hearts. By the end of that day, they lost their lives. A recruitment exercise, something that should have been a routine, became a death trap. Thousands surged through gates. The crash was inevitable. The tragedy was preventable. Mr. Speaker, I have seen the faces of these 6 young people. I've read their names. I think of their mothers who prepared breakfast that morning, not knowing it would be the last meal they would ever cook for their children. I think of their fathers who waved goodbye and expected them home by evening. What did those families get? A board of inquiry, statement of regrets, promises to investigate. But what they did not get was their children back. And still, not a single official has been held accountable. Not one person has resigned. Not one career has ended because 6 young Ghanaians died needlessly on their watch. Mr. Speaker, earlier this year, 8 more Ghanaians boarded a military helicopter. They were on national assignment, serving their country. The helicopter crashed in Obuasi. All 8 died, including top ministers of state. The investigation ruled it as an accident. Questions remain unanswered. Again, no accountability. Again, families left to grieve while officials move on. And Mr. Speaker, from the death of the young, let me turn to the destruction of their dreams. We in the minority, when our party was in office, handed over an education system that was in the best shape it had ever been, although it was not perfect. What's the result? We're improving year after year. Our free SHS policy by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had opened doors for millions. Our investment in infrastructure, teacher training, and curriculum reforms were bearing fruits. We were building a future, but what has happened in less than a year? The 2025 WASI results tell a story that should shame every one of us in this chamber, especially those of our friends in government. 220,000 candidates failed core mathematics. Let that number sink in. More than half of all students who sat for the exam. The worst performance in 7 years. F9 rates have exploded. Pass rates have collapsed. The failure rate has quadrupled compared to last year. The devil finds work for idle hands. Is it any wonder that youth-related violent crimes are increasingly in the press? Is it any wonder that in some communities, young people are abandoning classrooms to chase illegal mining? Is it any wonder that betting shops are now filled with adult youth gambling away their future? When 1.3 million young people have nothing to do, when youth unemployment reaches 32.5%, when graduates cannot find work and school leavers see no future, that is a national security threat. Let the record show this minority will fight to protect every mandate the people gave our colleagues. We have seen this playbook in other democracies, where courtrooms become backdoors for reshaping parliament. We will not let that happen here. The Constitution demands respect for the people's will, not convenience, not shortcuts, not political games dressed in legal language. And Mr. Speaker, lurking behind these attacks on representation is something even darker. Whispers, quiet conversations, plans being drawn in certain circles for a third-term presidential term. Some speak of creative constitutional interpretation. Others hint at amendment. All of them have forgotten one simple truth. Sovereignty belongs to the people, not those who sit in power. Let us be clear as a midday sun. Such schemes will not pass. Not on this minority's watch. Not while Ghanaians are awake and vigilant. We, the minority, will use every tool the Constitution gives us. Debates, motions, court actions, public mobilization, to stop any attempt to extend this government mandate beyond what the law permits. Mr. Speaker, we remain deeply troubled by the repeated introduction of government business under certificate of urgency without prior notification, adequate consultation, and sufficient time for proper scrutiny. While the Constitution permits emergency procedures under specific circumstances, such provisions are intended to be exceptional. We have witnessed instances where bills of significant national interest were laid before the House under certificate of urgency, with little opportunity for members to peruse their implications, consult relevant stakeholders, or subject them to rigorous debate. This approach undermines the very essence of legislation. A recent example is the lithium agreement, which had to be withdrawn. The minority sounded alarm, but it was ignored. Eventually, when civil society echoed our views on this House floor, government took a U-turn and came to eat a humble pie, leading to the withdrawal of the bill. We, the minority, consider this as a major policy failure, because the agreement had gone to cabinet had approved, and they brought it here. And when we raised the issue, government officials insisted that it was a right agreement. We hereby re-echo our position earlier this week that the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Ama Kofi Boah, must resign over this unfortunate situation. Mr. Speaker, this government has also tried to destroy the very institutions meant to hold it accountable. When the Office of the Special Prosecutor began investigating people close to the ruling party, what did we see? We saw a private membered bill showing its head under the majority leader and the majority chief whip. What they sought to do was to abolish that office. This move came as a shock to all who genuinely care about accountability. It's particularly jarring because it directly contradicted the president's own stated support for the OSP when he said, quote, a vital cog in the fight against corruption, unquote. The Minority Caucus, immediately upon learning of this bill, publicly condemned the attempt to dismantle the OSP. We found it unacceptable that while the president was praising the special prosecutor, his leaders in parliament were moving to scrap that very office. Thanks to the public outcry, the president intervened and the bill was withdrawn at his instance. However, the damage was already done. This episode dealt a blow to the credibility of government anti-corruption posture. Beyond the OSP incident, the anti-corruption effort so far appears one-sided. We observe that when this government took office, all party members who were facing prosecution were released, were freed through nolle prosequa. We observe that the vast majority of corruption investigations that have been launched have targeted officials of previous administration, including members of parliament on the Minority Caucus. Mr. Speaker, it is sad to say that any time the state agencies hear former appointees who are members of this side speak on national issue, they invite them with threats, and this is unacceptable. The attempt is to cow them not to speak. We ask, why this bad faith investigation? Is it to shut us, to silence us? And when they hear any appointee who is a member of parliament on the minority side speak, the next thing is threats. Mr. Speaker, sometimes in this very chamber, there are open threats and name calling. This must stop. Mr. Speaker, beyond the OSP, the anti-corruption effort so far appears one-sided, as I've said, and we have seen it in action. The minority has no objection whatsoever to any wrongdoing being investigated. Our position is that the fight against corruption must be genuine and non-partisan. It must not be used to blackmail us. Merely serving your nation in that capacity as a government appointee should not mean that if you are in opposition today, you must not speak. Mr. Speaker, democracy relies heavily on respect for the rule of law. State institutions must act impartially and protect the rights of all citizens. During this session, the minority has become concerned about signs of political intimidation and weakened due process. Action by some state agencies suggests targeting opposition figures, which threatens democratic stability. Our Bono regional chairman, Abronye, was targeted, and we know that our Ashanti regional chairman, Chairman Wuntumi, is undergoing what we call malicious prosecution. We have also seen instances where the right to bail and fair treatment have been ignored. Some opposition figures have been held in custody, contrary to Article 14 of the Constitution. This trend is troubling. We want to encourage IYOCO to undertake its work with professionalism. The way they are using bail to intimidate, to frustrate, and to deny some known MPP officials of their rights is most unfair. This must stop. The law must protect every citizen equally, and any departure from these safeguards creates serious risk for our democracy.